Hello and welcome to the Legion of Racers Online League, brought to you by Tarmac Works. I'm Idris here at the Legion of Racers, and I have JV with me. He is a very fast driver. I'm not very fast, but yeah, here we are. And we are at the Nurburgring today, well, virtually of course, tonight. And well, it's going to be a very interesting round here at the Nurburgring. Now we do have the track up here, and now you do have a favorite part of the track, right? Yourself?
Yes, actually. I mean, I am a big fan of the Michael Schumacher SS. It's very high speed. So yeah, it's quite tricky actually. That's what I feel, because if you hit the curb wrong, it might send you flying. So it's very high speed. I like it, going through the corner very fast. You know, I feel it's very exhilarating. It's very fun.
Yeah, for me, that's for sure. I do like actually right after the team when you go into the last chicane. Now, currently in this setup, this is the fast chicane, so it still is quite exciting because we have 45 drivers now. Let's check out the list, the entry list of all our drivers today. 45 drivers on the Nurburgring.
45 drivers is actually quite crazy, you know. I mean, I'm starting to think about the start of the race, you know, to have 45 drivers going into the first corner. And do remember that the first corner is a hairpin, heartbreaking zone. So to have 45 cars going into that one corner is going to be a little bit tricky. But as you can see, we've got lots of drivers here tonight. We've got some drivers to take note of. We've got Nigel Chua and Andy Ngan. Nigel from Malaysia and Andy Ngan from Hong Kong. And both of them are actually driving for the Tarmac Works Moon Eyes car.
That's right, it has, well, it is a very nice livery, I do think, the Moon Eyes Tarmac Works car. Yeah, 45 drivers. Now, all these cars are GT3 cars, as you can tell, and they are, the game essentially is following the GT World Challenge rules. This is a Assetto Corsa, of course, and, well, there is a thing about the rules, isn't there?
Yes.
Where you have an open setup.
Yep, and the thing about open setups is that you are able to make setup changes to your car. So for newcomers, you know, this would be, you know, things like suspension, camber, tire pressures, aerodynamics. Now all of this sort of stuff will definitely benefit the drivers when it comes to handling, you know. And also these drivers put in a lot of time and effort, I believe, to really set up these cars just right for the perfect conditions for their style of driving, and you know, hopefully their setup will help them to win the race.
That's right, and well, we have quite a few interesting cars, a lot of Mercedes, Ferraris. These cars are very quick, especially the Mercedes. Now, of course, early on, 45 of the drivers have gone through their free practice, and now they are pretty much in the qualifying stages already before we go racing later on. So we are going to cut into the qualifying, and we will chat with you guys a little bit soon. Right.
So we are actually taking a look at Nigel Chua. He is currently P20, but that is because qualifying has just started. I think they are starting their first hot laps right now. Nigel obviously being a very, very quick driver. He has competed in the likes of the SRO GT World Challenge Asia series, which is the official esports series for the GT World Challenge. And of course, in ACC, the game is officially licensed by GT World Challenge themselves. So you know that is a very high level competition, and you know we have high level competition drivers here in the LOR Online League. So you know, it goes to show that the grid we have over here tonight is really no slouch.
That's right, we have Muhammad Kutubi right here. We are on board with his NSX. Now he is the only car actually, which is, or rather he has chosen an NSX. He's the only person who has chosen an NSX in this race. Now, the NSX is it a tricky car for you? Because it is tricky for me when I actually tried driving this thing. It's not as easy to drive fast like the Mercedes. What do you think?
I would feel the Honda NSX is a bit underrated compared to the other cars. You know, if you compare them to the likes of the Mercedes, the Bentley, the Ferrari, you know, all these we all know they are very quick cars. But you know, nobody really points out like how fast the NSX can actually be, because as we saw from free practice, actually the NSX was actually pretty decently quick. You know, it was, you know, running around with the Mercedes and the Ferraris and the Bentleys. You know, they're not too far off actually. So I think it's not about the car. I think it's more about how the driver is able to handle the car, understand the car and how it performs. So even if the car may be a little bit underpowered, but I think in the hands of the correct driver, of the right driver who understands the car, it can definitely be quick.
That's right. Muhammad Kutubi is just about to cross the line, and of course he is currently in P10, which is quite surprising. You do have quite a lot of fast drivers, and now for the first few spots are already getting filled up. We are 10 minutes into qualifying here at the Nurburgring, and well, we have quite a bit of fast drivers, well, filling up the top spots, as you can tell. Now we do have Nigel Chua, who is in P4. Won't be surprised he might move up a place later on. What do you think? Russell Reyes is also a very quick driver. He is currently now in P3. Now we are looking and focusing on Tarmac, which is, or rather he is in P1 currently with the very nice McLaren 720S.
The McLaren is actually a pretty fast car. We have seen it being very successful in other leagues, such as the GT World Challenge. The McLaren is surely really a car to look out for. But another car to really look out for is actually the Bentley, because we have seen the Bentley go very, very quick before in the hands of course, the correct driver once again. You see, we get Russell Reyes in the Bentley. So he is P3 right now in qualifying with 9 minutes left to go. And the thing about the Bentley is, people like to call it the boatly sometimes. It is, it does look a little bit big, I mean,
it is.
I think you can compare them to the BMs as well. The BMs are actually quite big as well. But as you can see, Russell Reyes is up in P4. He has just been overtaken by, I think
Nigel Chua has just gone to P1, which is, well, I sort of expected that. He is very, very fast driver. But we still have 8 minutes to go. Now it should be interesting as we move closer to the end of qualifying.
Now I must say the tarmac works livery is actually pretty nice. It's very bright as well, so it's very easy to point out the drivers who are driving the Tarmac Works car. Now there are two drivers that are driving for Tarmac Works, our official title sponsor for the LOR online league. So we have one of them, Nigel Chua, over here in P1. We also have Andy Ngan from Hong Kong, who is driving the Tarmac Works car as well.
That's right, and this looks like the second chicane, is it? Or is it the first chicane? But then let's see what happens to Andy Ngan when he crosses the line. He's currently in P36. I'm pretty sure he just came out of the pitch recently, so it should be interesting. Let's see. Well, I guess he's going for his hot lap right now. It should be quite interesting. Now 7 minutes left to go. The timings should be pretty much there. We can see Nigel Chua topping the charts. This last sector is the fastest yet, and of course we have Russell Reyes, who is in P6 right now. I do think Russell Reyes might push up the spots a little bit. I do think that he is quite capable of that. Don't you think?
He is a very, very quick driver. I have driven against him in several other leagues, and he has proven himself to be a very, very fast driver. Especially in the hands of the Bentley. He has been driving the Bentley for quite a while, so I'm pretty sure he understands the car. He knows what's good and what's bad about the car, and of course, having to exploit the advantages of this car is extremely important. He is the fastest Bentley out there right now. He is ahead of the second Bentley. Arvind Taruna is driving the other Bentley right now. He is in P13, followed by N Chin Song, if I got that right, in P15. So we have two other Bentleys down there in the top 20.
That's right. Now, I'm not too sure if Russell Reyes is going for a hot lap. Well, he went a bit sideways. You saw a little bit of opposite road coming through that corner just now. Well, it looks like he is pushing it. It should be quite interesting. He will cross the line very soon, so we will see, or rather see his updated timing very soon. Now, Ng Ching Song, the other Bentley in this race now in P17. Now, I have to say the Bentleys look really big. They are very big, even in real life. It looks like really, like you mentioned, a boat flying through the track. Now, I must mention this track with 45 cars, it is quite significant. Thankfully, like I mentioned earlier, this is, well, following the GT World Challenge rules, so it will be a rolling start later on. if it is a grid start, I think it's going to be quite happening. I'm pretty sure everyone will end up.
It will be lots and lots of chaos, I have to say, because with my experience from grid starts, they are definitely more more hectic.
What's going on there? Darren Ivan? He is taking a little bit of an excursion. I'm not too sure what's going on here. He still has about 5 minutes left.
I think he's just giving way to the other cars on their hot laps. I think he has probably messed up this lap or something. I think he is going for another hot lap on his next lap. So here we have Darren Ivan in the BMW. There are not many drivers driving the BMW tonight, actually.
Yes.
So it's very interesting to be seeing a BMW on the grid tonight. Obviously, Darren Ivan Regent driving for Blue Steel Racing as he comes round the final corner.
Yeah.
We can see he's actually trying to go for a wider exit to get himself faster on the straights.
Sounds about right. I mean, I don't think he will move out any places for this. And let's see if he will set a fast in that time. Now he is quite fast, isn't he?
Yes, we do actually have a few. He seems to be impeded by some guy who just exited the pits. That is not good. Not good. He must be fuming right now. He has just started his hot lap and he has been blocked.
I believe there was Indra Ferianto from Wyatt.
I think maybe a little bit of miscommunication there. You probably didn't see him. A bit of an accident, but a very costly accident because Darren only has 4 minutes left to go. He is in P26. I'm pretty sure he wants to move up the places here.
Yes, that's right. It looks like he is really pushing it. It should be quite interesting. I mean, early on the incident, I don't think it's really a big issue, but we will see later on if it becomes an issue. Well, let's see what's going on here. Javier Cheng. Now, this is a man who shares the same name as you.
Yes.
Javier Cheng is quite a cool guy. You can check out some of his interviews, but he is one person in this race. If you look at the photos, of course, of all the entrants, he actually doesn't have a face. If you look carefully, he is a cat.
He is a cat on the entry list.
He is a cat on the entry list. He is doing not too shabby.
Oh, it seems to be going side by side here and he's just gone off.
That's right. Is that Andreas Wolf? I think that is Andreas Wolf. Oh dear.
Oh, and he's gone back to the pits. I think he might want to start another hot lap as fast as possible.
That's right. I think good luck to him. There is still quite a bit of time as long as he comes out of the pit right now. Hopefully we will see something interesting from Javier Cheng later on.
Oh, there we go. Contact here
right
qualifying lap.
That's quite unfortunate. There's Ilham Karim Shakil. And who did he collide with? I actually didn't catch that.
I'm not so sure, I didn't catch that either, but there seems to be a bit of contact. You can see the drivers here are really pushing very hard. It's almost as if it's the race.
Yes, that's right, and it should get quite interesting, I think. Oh, there we go.
Oh, and a bit of an excursion, and the Michael Schumacher assist. You see, like I said earlier, if you get it wrong, you will get yourself flying into the gravel.
That's right. Now we are seeing quite a bit of battle here. Yeah, this is almost like a race. Nobody is really giving up. Really. I mean, we saw Darren Ivan earlier being a very gentleman really, and giving way and then getting on with his hot lap. But as you can see here, this is starting to get quite interesting.
I think the drivers here really they want to get a good qualifying position. That's why I think they're pushing so hard. As you see another car going off the track here.
Lots of excursions going on today. Oh dear. Well, that's kind of dangerous, isn't it? But well, let's see if he goes. I'm pretty sure he's going to go for another hot lap. Should be quite interesting. Now, with it, we are looking at the fight currently in the lower positions right now. The thing is, it seems to be filled with a lot of incidents. Now, we're looking at Anthony Munoz now. I believe he should be pushing for a fast time
behind him.
That's right. Now, the thing is, the McLarens are pretty quick, isn't it? But the Bentleys, they pull very hard when you get on the straights. Same like the Mercedes. That's quite a special thing. Actually, it's quite a spectacle. Actually, when you watch like actual GT3 class racing, how the Mercedes and the Bentleys just seem to pull away from everyone else, especially on the straights. Now,
I think the cars here, they've got different pros and cons to them. Like the Bentley and the Mercedes. These are all very heavy cars, but to compensate for that, they do actually have very, very powerful engines, which is why sometimes you actually do see them pulling away on the straights as if you compare them to, say, a Porsche.
Yes.
But the Porsche is much lighter than the likes of the Mercedes, so they will be a little bit faster in the corners. And we have the McLaren.
Oh dear.
No, the Mercedes has impeded the lap of that McLaren behind
That's
there. I
right.
don't think he's going to be very happy, but I think, to be fair to Anthony Munoz, he is on his hot lap as well.
That's right, and we where did the McLaren go? That McLaren was Agostino Rio Fatra from Batram Digital Motorsport. Now, I don't see him anymore. He seems to have come off the track for some reason. So, yeah. Now we're back with Andy now. Let's see if he can push again. But the thing is, the session will end very soon. We are 5 seconds left to qualifying, of course. It could be quite interesting right now.
You can see the timings here are really getting really close, and we see Fadli Rahmat, who is absolutely destroying the grid here with a 153.148. He is 4/10ths quicker than the guy in P2. Now 4/10ths in any other race would almost mean like you're probably out of the top 10.
That's right.
4/10ths, but we have a 4/10ths gap between P1 and P2, which is quite amazing to see, how Fadli Rahman is able to go that quick with the 153.1. Actually, it was quite interesting to see that only a few drivers were managing the 153s in free practice. So it's really interesting to see how there are a number of drivers here already in the 153s in quali.
That's right, for sure. And well, from P1 to P7 actually we have 153s, right? So, of course, we are going racing in a little bit. And right now we will have a little message from one of our sponsors, of course. We are going for a little break. We will catch you guys in a bit. Stay tuned. Are in racing. We are going racing now, of course.
Yes, the cars are actually lining up on the grid now. Now the thing about ACC and the GT World Challenge regulations is that, just like you mentioned earlier, it is going to be a rolling start. So these drivers will be doing a full formation lap around the Nurburgring to warm up their brakes, warm up their tires, and get ready for the start of the race. And the race will be 30 minutes long.
Yes, that's right. Of course, I like that you mentioned warming up brakes and warming up tires. Now, the thing is, of course, there is a bit of mechanical aspect when it comes to sim racing, like for example your tire temperatures as well as the brakes, for example. But the thing is, the cars do not break down in sim racing, of course, unless if you crash the car.
There's a good point to note actually. The cars, there is a chance for them to break down actually, but it doesn't really happen out of random. Actually,
That's right.
It really only happens when, say, you downshift a little bit too quickly and you start to damage your engine. Only when that happens, then your car will start to break down. So these are things to take note, in sim racing. Now, sim racing is very different from all the arcade games that many of us are familiar with, such as Need for Speed or Wangan, that kind of stuff you find in the arcade as well. It's very, very different from those, because you have to start thinking about like your engine breaking down. You can't downshift too quickly, like slam the gears and everything. You can't do that. You have to make sure that your tires are in the correct temperatures. You are at the correct tire temperatures and pressure. And even your brakes as well. Your brake temperatures have to be just right, because if they're too cold or they're too hot, they will not be as effective. So that's the interesting thing that I love about sim racing.
That's right, but the thing is, if you look at real racing, of course, lack of a better word, real racing, there is that chance of mechanical failure.
Yes.
But in sim racing, you don't have it. But don't think for a second that this is, well, better or anything else. The real problem that can come with sim racing is, of course, getting disconnected. Now, this is a real problem, and to me, it's quite a challenging one because you never know when it will happen. So we'll see how it goes later on.
I've actually had that happen to me a few times. Oh man, it was heartbreaking, man, to disconnect from a race after, racing so hard, but then, things happen, you don't know why it happens, hardware failure sometimes, just like in real life. So that is one aspect to think about as well. You can get hardware failure in sim racing as well, it's not just in real racing, maybe your engine breakdown or your transmission broke or something.
Yep.
The difference in sim racing is maybe your engine breaking down could be, your PC just randomly shutting down,
Exactly, and I think it is a real problem. Now, we are going into the racing. As you can tell, the grid is here. They will go into a rolling start formation in just a little bit. It is quite a nice grid. A lot of very nice liveries actually. Of course, my favorite has to be the Moon Eyes. I'm quite a big fan of the Moon Eyes.
Yes, they are very bright, aren't they?
That's right, and also their merchandise and stuff like that.
So let's quickly actually run down the order here. We've got Fadli Rahmat in P1 with a stunning 153.1, 4 tenths ahead of Avila Baha in P2. Third, we have Tanatip Tanalapanan, followed by Nigel Chua, Takuma, Russell Reyes, Wilkit Low, Tasbi, Ilham Shak, and Arwin Taruna to round up the top 10.
That's right. Are there any surprising names in this list for you? Because for me, these are names that are, of course, very familiar to me at the top.
I think these drivers here, it's not too big of a surprise because I have seen these drivers before. I have raced alongside them, and actually they are one of the fastest in the region. So it's not surprising here to see them in the top 10, although we do have a few other drivers to look out for outside of the top 10 as well. We have Jay Wong, who is in P11 from Singapore. Really good quality here, P11, just outside the top 10, but he has definitely set himself up for a good position for the race. But now the thing about starting somewhere in the middle is that, again, we have 45 drivers in tonight, and just like I mentioned earlier at the start of the stream, if you were to start in the middle, you have 45 cars going into the first corner. It is a heartbreaking zone. It is a hairpin. I am not a big fan of starting somewhere in the middle in a race like this, because there will be chaos if you were to have 45 cars going into a hairpin, because I've had that happen to me before, starting the mid pack and going into one of the heartbreaking zones. It will definitely be chaos. I will actually be surprised if all 45 cars make it around turn 1 without any collision. So I will be surprised if that happens, but we will see in just a bit.
Yes, that's right. Now we are coming to, the final corner really. We are coming towards the start of, the first round of the Legion of Racers online league, and it is going to be very interesting, isn't it? We have, it is a lockout. It's a lockout up front by 3 McLarens. Could it be that the McLarens are, the better cars for this track? As you all know, you can't change cars throughout the next 5 rounds, or 4 rounds now. We are in round 1, of course, and here we go. I really do think there will be quite a bit of incidents now. I'm a little bit excited actually.
You can see the cars are lining up side by side right now. Fadli Rahmat on the right side here in P1 with Avila Baha in P2. As you can see, both of them are from JMX Phantom. JMX Phantom really locking out the front row here in P1 and P2. And Fadli Rahmat does actually have the advantage on starting on the inside, because it is going to be a right turn for turn 1, as we actually prepare for these drivers to start in a bit, because they are on the main straight now.
That's right, and we are going racing in just a bit. It's going to be quite exciting. I really do think there will be quite a bit of incidents. 45 cars on the Nurburgring.
It's green.
We are going for it right now. As you can tell, there is quite a bit of mess at the back. It is, of course, the McLarens are having, a few things out right
Nigel
up
Chua
front.
has already moved up 1 position. He is on the inside of Avila Baha. He is looking looking for a move. Oh, where has Nigel gone? Okay, Nigel is still there. He's still there. I was worried he was about to get taken out there. I was quite worried because he disappeared off the screen for a minute.
Yes, that's right. Now, thing is, it looks very clean up front. Of course, these are very fast drivers, and Nigel Chua is sitting in P3 right now with a great view of the McLarens up ahead. It should be quite interesting. A P4 rather. I didn't notice that he dropped the place actually. He was in P2 just a while ago.
Yeah, and we see Russell Reyes just behind Nigel Chua right now. He has moved up to, I would think this is P4. Yes, Russell Reyes has actually moved up to P4. We are waiting for the leaderboard to update, and I think it was a clean start. I'm not so sure what happened at the back, and we do actually have a drive-to penalty already for one of the cars.
Oh dear.
I think somewhere in the top 10, I'm not sure, because it did appear on the leaderboard for a moment. Let's double check. I'm not so sure where the driver is right now.
Yes, I am pretty sure it might be for track limits, because I mean you have over 40 cars going into the first corner.
Oh no, what has happened to Tarmac Lapanen? He is in P7 right now, or P6. I think the leaderboard is still updating. I think he lost a few positions on the start. Probably not a good start for him. But we have Muhammad Tasbi here for Scuderia AMG Racing in P6 in the Ferrari. Very, very good position for him right now.
That's right, he has a very clear view of the road up ahead. Now we are coming to, well, the last chicane now, and we are about to cross the line. 28 minutes left.
Oh no, it is Darren Ivan Rajan who has just gotten a drive-through penalty at the start.
Dear.
Now, the thing about drive-through penalties is that there are a few ways to get drive-through penalties. One of them is, of course, if you were to be in the wrong position at the start, or if you have exceeded the speed limit at the start. So that's how you get a drive-through penalty. Or you cut the track 3 times. You get 3 warnings. Once you have gotten all 3 warnings and you get another cut track warning, you will be served a drive-through penalty, and that is not by the stewards, that is by the game itself.
That's right, and it will be very unfortunate because, as if you all don't know, there aren't any pit strategies in this race.
We have somebody in the top 10 actually who has a 10-second stop-go penalty.
Yes. It will be very unfortunate actually if we have to serve any penalties in this race. Like I mentioned, it is a real waste really. Well, after you serve your penalty, pretty much you are hoping for everyone up front to make a mistake, because they won't be pitting and it will be very hard to gain a couple of places. Now we have, of course, Nigel Chua up ahead in the Mercedes, and Russell Reyes sitting very close behind. Now I'm not too sure how it looks like for Nigel Chua, especially when you see a very big Bentley sitting right behind you. Now I'm not too sure if he's going to go for it.
Russell Reyes was looking on the inside for a moment then, possibly trying to pressure Nigel into a mistake, because I'm pretty sure he knows Nigel is a very quick driver, but he himself is a quick driver as well. So he is very, very close behind Nigel Chua. I think he is just trying to force Nigel into a mistake. See what happens. Nigel is going defensive a bit. Okay, as we see, we have a battle going on at the back actually. Here we have Bernie Ronquillo for Hold My Beer Racing in the Mercedes. He has a Lamborghini right in front of him, not sure who it is. I think we have to wait for the leaderboard to update, and behind him we have a Porsche, the Porsche of, I think would be Mardini if I'm not wrong.
That's right, and well, the thing is that I'm very surprised actually, JV, is that we are about 5 minutes in and not many significant incidents really. We didn't see any, well, cars flying off the track. I think that's quite a good thing.
Speaking of incidents, the front of the Mercedes here of Bernie Ronquillo does actually have quite a bit of damage.
That's right.
It seems like a really big impact for that to happen. Look, you can see the hood is already almost trying to fly off. I'm not so sure what happened at the back, but it seems there has been a bit of an incident at the back. You see, like I mentioned earlier, starting in the mid-pack is not fun. There will be some sort of collision, and as we see Bernie here, he has a bit of damage on the front. He will be understeering quite a bit here because his front splitter is basically gone at this point. Look at the damage on that car, but he seems to be holding up
Yes,
the
it's holding-
Porsches pretty well.
It is. That Porsche Indra Ferianto seems to be quite aggressive sitting at the back just now. He was really quite close actually, and he also has quite a bit of damage at the front of his Porsche. So we will see what happens later on. Now we are looking at P20, and as you can tell, it is still racing happening at the back. This is some serious stuff here.
Oh, I think we have the Honda NSX going around the outside there.
That's right, and we're looking at the Honda NSX as well as the RCF. These cars, well, that is the only NSX in this race, as well as the RCF. Quite an interesting choice of car. Now, they can be quite competitive, that's the thing, if you get your setups right. Now, this is quite interesting. Now we are in P20, and the racing hasn't ended, isn't it? Is there, right back here, people are still pushing forwards.
I think right now what the drivers are really focusing on is to get in those lap times, make sure the laps are as clean as possible to try and run away from the guy behind. Especially here we have Fadli Rahmat here, who is already in P1. He has started in P1, he is still in P1, and he is definitely thinking about maintaining his position here. Of course, we have his teammate in P2, Avila Baha. Hopefully, we don't get to see them battle because it will be quite the competition here between teammates. It's not going to be very good if you're challenging your teammate for the top position. However, they have to keep in mind that they do still have Nigel Chua and Russell Reyes behind them, so they have to make sure they don't get themselves into a bit of a tangle and lose the position to Nigel, who is very, very close behind. You see, Russell Reyes has dropped back a bit. Back when we saw him earlier, he was right up the back of Nigel Chua, but he has dropped back a bit. You see, the gaps are pretty consistent. The drivers are really putting in the laps here. We have Sean Yee from GTSG. He is going around the...
Well, that looks very much like not the Michael Schumacher S's, isn't it?
No, this is just before the Michael Schumacher S's, yes.
Anyway, we are looking at some clean racing actually up front from P1 all the way to P10. It is quite interesting, and I think Rahmat has enjoyed a very clean race for the last 10 or so minutes. We still have 22 minutes to go in this race.
Now the thing about ACC here is that you have to think about changing conditions as well. But in a 30-minute race, I don't think that will be too much of an issue. Oh, actually, we see there's a bit of a battle going on behind there. Who's that? We have Woikit Low, who was going a bit defensive there.
Yes.
Oh, the Porsche is going for the move down the inside, and they make a bit of contact. Not sure Woikit is going to like that, but the Porsche is still holding on. He is flashing his lights. Woikit is not happy that the Porsche made that move. He is not happy at all. He's flashing his lights. He has a bit of damage on the front splitter. He is diving down the inside of this other McLaren here. We have a bit of a tangle here going on.
There's quite a bit of drama here. The thing is, I did see Wookit sort of dive, or rather not dive, sort of...
Oh, there's a bit of contact. No, that is Sean Yee. I think that is Sean Yee's McLaren, and Woikit is...
There we go. He's coming back into the track. That was quite scary.
Oh, that was a bit dangerous there.
Yes. He's going for it. He's still going for it. The thing is, he wasn't happy about that Porsche coming in that first corner, and he sort of turned into the Porsche, and I think that's where the drama sort of started. He really wanted to get that position back, and now it's a bit pointless, isn't it?
Oh man, that is very, 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 very unfortunate for Wicked. He is down in P50 now. He was up in the top 10 positions.
That's right.
Now he is outside the top 10
and now outside of the points.
Yeah, you want to be in the top 10 here because only the top 10 gets points.
That's right, and the thing is, around in P15, the gap to where he was before is quite a big gap, and I don't think he can find that gap anymore.
I think he will start to drop back at this point because he does seem to have a bit of damage here, especially from that first incident with the Porsche, and then the other incident with the McLaren. Oh man, that is not good. Actually, where has the other McLaren gone?
Which McLaren? The one that crashed?
Yeah, the one that crashed into Wicked. I think I can't see him on the leaderboard anymore.
Yes. Very unfortunate incident earlier, and we just saw it right in front of us here.
Oh man, that's very, very unfortunate.
Here we go, and now in the podium finishes, of course, they are really enjoying a very clean race. I'm not even sure if they know what's going on at the back. no drama here, actually.
It seems like a pretty decent race for Alexis Clapano as well. I think he started outside of the top 10, but he is now in P10. He is going to get himself some of those points in the bag if he continues to stay in the top 10. Actually, we have Jay Wong as well in the top 10 positions in P9. And of course, that will be very important for the championship fight, is to always, as best as possible, to stay in the top 10 where you will get points, because if you're outside the top 10, you will not get any points at all.
That's right. And now the thing is, the gap seems to have closed up. Now, I'm not too sure if it's just a camera work, but it seems like, well, the positions are getting a bit closer, especially between P1, P2 and P3. Now, we are back again.
And the Mercedes is looking on the inside of the McLaren of Leo Fatra here. He backs out, good move. You probably wouldn't want to risk a collision at that corner there. I wouldn't go for an overtake over there because it is relatively high speed. You would want to make your overtaking moves somewhere in the hard braking zones of the hairpins, such as turn 1. Turn 1 is a good overtaking position. Oh, and the McLaren just gone off.
Oh dear. Now that was kind of weird.
I think he went wide and he might have outbraked himself and gone wide. But Andreas Wolff has just gotten a free position. He's up to P20 now.
That's right. And the thing is, as you can tell, the racing is still happening at the back. Now we are outside of the points here, but everyone is still pushing very hard. Now, of course, we can see Andreas Wolff flashing his lights. I'm not too sure why. Maybe to, well, show his unhappiness perhaps with the cars in front. Now,
oh no, my goodness, the Aston is going for a move. Oh wow, what happened to the Mercedes? It looks like the Mercedes didn't really have the speed on the straights. Not sure what happened. That might be because of the damage, because we all know that the Mercedes has a very high power engine.
That's right.
It normally pulls away on the straights, but it seems like the Aston made that move pretty easily on the straight.
That's right. Now, I do agree. I do like the Mercedes and how fast they are on the straights, especially as well as the Bentleys. They really work very well on high-speed tracks, especially here where it's a mix of a lot of high-speed areas. But as you can tell, it seems like the McLarens are leading. It is quite interesting if you ask me. Now, let's talk about a little bit about, well, your favorite cars really, because for me, like I mentioned, it is the Mercedes. But for you, from my understanding, is it the Porsche?
No, it's actually the Mercedes as well. I love the Mercedes. I've been driving the Mercedes since day one of me playing ACC. We are on the ACC platform here, and my favorite car really is the Mercedes. Of course, I have tried other cars, but my personal favorite is the Mercedes. It's very fast. It's quite big though, but that isn't really a problem because of how fast it is, and it has proven to be a very, very good car multiple times. I have raced it in many leagues and got decent positions with the Mercedes, and at this point I'm really comfortable with the Mercedes. So actually we see that Sam from DFG is actually looking to move on the McLaren.
That's right, that's Tarmac. He is going for it. Yep, it should be interesting now over here. But speaking of your favorite cars, for me, I do find that the Porsches are a little bit tricky. You really do have to get the correct setup to go fast with the Porsches. But the thing is, if you get it right with those cars,
just like that,
really
the Porsche.
There we go.
Oh, there's a bit of battle going on between the Porsche and the McLaren. They are going side by side, and I think he has made the move. And just like you said, as we were mentioning about the Porsche has just made the move. You see, as you can see, if you can get the setup right, if you can drive this car, certainly it will be a good car to drive, because it's very small, it's very light compared to the other cars. But the thing I don't like about the Porsche, that it is quite hard to set up, in my opinion. It is a difficult car to set up. It feels very weird sometimes. Sometimes it understeers, sometimes it oversteers. Yes, it is very difficult to get it right.
It is, I do agree. Now we are 15 minutes left into the racing. Clearly, we saw a few incidents earlier, but surprisingly, everything is going quite well. Now, early on, there was quite I would say quite massive danger early on, because there was a little bit of drama, a little bit of unhappiness, as you can tell, just from the movements alone. you knew that there was some anger involved.
Definitely, there will be confirmed. There will be some kind of incident that will happen, especially in the mid-pack. That was the one I was most worried about because it gets very bunched up somewhere in the middle. So in a race like this, I would say it is safer to be at the front, the very front, or just right at the back.
Yes.
But of course, as we saw from the start, it was actually relatively clean compared to some of the races I've seen. If you recall Macau, there was a GT3 race.
Wait a minute, I did see someone parked.
Yeah, there was a car parked
into
at the entrance of the pit lane.
That's right. I'm not too sure who is that, but that is quite a very interesting place to take a break.
I don't think you want to enter the pits here because it is a 30-minute sprint race. There is no need to pit, and actually, basically, if you pit, you're basically out of contention.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So if, like I mentioned, if you get a penalty, well, you're almost done for really. You're just going to hope for a mistake up front, and I don't think in that situation we'll be getting any points really. We did see a bit of a yellow flag just now. I think that's ACC's own flag system which will highlight when there are incidents.
So we are just taking a look at Dafa Nabil here, driving for JMX Junior, and Alexis Crapano, who is right behind him, racing for Sim Racing Pilipinas.
That's right, and of course now Crapano is right out of the points as of now. Of course, P10 will be the last position to get a single point in this race.
So we do have a battle for P10 here between, let's see, 4 cars?
That's right. 4 cars, all in very close proximity to P10. Now this should be quite interesting because a point can make it or break it when it comes to the whole online league. So it should be quite interesting when these cars when we come closer to the end of the race. Now, Tarmac is actually enjoying quite a good position here, isn't it?
He has climbed up from P6 to P5 as we saw, and that's where he was at the start of the race. He was P6 at the start, if I'm not wrong, and he has moved up to P5. Seems like there is a bit of gap between him and Russell Reyes though, but we can see that Muhammad Tasbi is right behind Thanatip Thanalapanan. I think he is just trying to make sure that his laps are decent. He's putting in the lap times before thinking about making a move on Thanatip Thanalapanan because he is still quite a bit of distance away. Yeah, for sure you want to get a little bit closer first before thinking about making a move.
That's right, and well, Tasbih is really, well, I'm pretty sure he'll push for increase in points later on. We are coming in to 10 minutes left into the race. So far, so good. Now we're looking at Sam right here and Jay Wong.
We actually have a pretty clean race. I'm actually quite surprised because I was expecting some sort of chaos. So right. I am actually quite pleased to see that these drivers are actually keeping it very clean. As we see, Jay Wong seems to be getting,
and I think he's going for it. I think he is going for it. He is. Well, the gap is coming closer and closer, and I'm pretty sure Jay Wong will go for it very soon.
Oh, the Lambo is going for a defensive position here. Right. Jay Wong is he going to go around the outside? I don't think he's going to go around the outside. He stays behind.
That's right.
The Lambo and lives to fight another day.
That's right, but the thing is, Jay Wong, he gets quite interesting when it comes to turn 1, especially that's where he earned the place, or 2 actually, previously when we were focusing on him. This should be quite interesting when we stick on him. We could see some action as he pulls a quick one really. Now, we are about to cross the line again and we are 10 minutes into the end of the racing, and as you can tell,
so close.
He is going for it. He is not afraid. And let's see if he jumps the gun on turn 1.
He is going a little bit defensive here, probably trying to break the slipstream of Jay Wong. Jay Wong, I don't think he's trying to flash his lights. He's trying to force him to a mistake.
He didn't go for it, did he?
Nope.
And I'm pretty sure if he got a little bit closer, he will go for the jump. It is quite interesting. Tasbih really has, rather, Jay Wong. It should be quite interesting for him later on. But he is trying. He is trying.
Okay, we have Chin Song here from Singapore, driving for GTSG in the Bentley. Again, this is another one of the Bentleys here. This is actually the second fastest Bentley. Where is the other Bentley? I thought there was another Bentley somewhere just outside the top 10. It seems like there are only two Bentleys here. Oh, yeah, there are only two Bentleys here that we can see on the leaderboard. Oh, actually, we have the other Bentley there in P23.
That's right. Yeah. We are back on Tarmac, and it should be quite interesting actually. Now it seems like everyone is going for him.
Hold on, where is Jae Wong?
That's right.
Did Tarmac drop back?
Yes, I believe he dropped back. Yes, Jae Wong has stayed in.
Wow, what a performance by Jae Wong. He is now up to P7.
That's right. It should be quite interesting. It seems like he's going for it. We are 9 minutes left, but he has a bit of competition right at the back. GTSG driver, of course, right on his tail. Now, early on, I think he did make a move on the GTSG 720S. Now it seems like 720S is back at it again, so it should be quite interesting here. Now, of course, the racing, the happening part of this race seems to be happening at the back. So I'm pretty sure we'll see something quite interesting later on.
Really high class racing here, as we can see, because these drivers have really made the effort to keep themselves out of any sort of incident, of course, except for the one we see between the McLarens of Woikit and who's the other guy? I can't remember.
That's right. Yeah,
Other than that, I think it has been pretty clear. There hasn't been much of any big incidents. Fadli Rahmat is still at the front in P1 for GMX Phantom.
That's right.
Now GMX has actually brought in two teams here. We've got GMX Phantom and GMX Junior. So I would, of course, by the name, I would assume that GMX Junior is their junior team. So you can see that the GMX cars are actually doing pretty well here. We have a GMX 1-2, and if they keep this up, this will be a good fight for the points for GMX.
That's right, it should get quite interesting for them, and I think they are really enjoying a very, very clean race. I'm pretty sure they have settled down pretty much, and I believe for Rahmat to see his teammate at the back, there should be some mutual understanding, I believe, but who knows, it might get one of them might want to push for more. It should get quite interesting. Now Nigel Tra is keeping Russell Reyes right at bay here. Now it might get a little bit more interesting as the minutes go by, and Russell Reyes, I think, is taking a chill pill as of now. We do have a yellow flag currently. Oh, it's cleared again.
I think the ACC system is just trying to figure out what is an incident, what is not an incident. I think sometimes they take small incidents as an incident, but they just show the yellow flag anyway.
That's right. We have someone in the pits there. I believe that is not good to enter the pits.
It's a yellow car actually. It's not good.
Yes, that's right. I think it should be. It's actually very unfortunate if you actually turn into the pits.
Now, speaking of points, actually earlier, they are not just fighting points for themselves, because they are actually competing for a separate Nations Cup. So the thing about Nations Cup is that the top two drivers from each country will be fighting for the Nations Cup. So their points will be combined, and that will make up the standings for the Nations Cup. As we can see, GMX is doing a decent job bringing good points in the bag for Indonesia. And then we have Nigel Chua in P3 for Malaysia, Russell Reyes for Philippines, and Thanatip Thanalapanan for Thailand. Actually, Thanalapanan is the only Thai driver in the grid, if I'm not wrong. Yep, he is.
That's right, it is quite interesting to be, the only person representing your country, and of course sitting in the top spots and getting quite a bit of points that he will bring to the next 4 rounds. Now we are about to end here, aren't we? 5 minutes into the end of racing. Oh dear.
Oh, we've already seen the back marker. So it seems like the back marker has gone off the track. Not sure what happened there. Does he have damage or something? I'm not so sure, because he seemed to be a little bit too slow to be actually racing.
That's
Not
right.
sure if there's damage.
I wonder what happened over there. We really are interested to know. I'm pretty sure he might be just crawling back into the pits at this point. Now, the thing is, I don't know. Some people might actually decide to enter the pits now and sit through and get out of everyone's way, because I believe that some of these people, their aim is really to get into the points. So when you come down to these last few minutes, it gets quite interesting. Now, there we go. We got a couple of back markers here, and oh dear, there. Oh dear.
No, there has been contact with the JMX cars.
That is not good.
Oh my goodness, Avila Baha has moved up the position to P1. Fali Rahman has collided with a back marker. As you can see, even getting past these back markers is a challenge sometimes.
That's right.
Now this is not going to be good because we are at the final few minutes of the race, and Nigel is going to be looking to start gaining on Fadli Rahman.
That's right.
Wait, is that Fadli Rahman in P1 now?
Yes,
What's going on?
It looks like it, and now as you can tell, the grid has been updated. If you want to take a look, Javier, the thing is, yes, he has gone up a place. Now that is quite unfortunate, really. That shouldn't have happened, but as you know, anything can happen in racing, and as you can tell, the junior has taken P1, but I don't think it's really an issue. It seems like both of them are just going for it, and nobody is really sort of giving way to the other. Now, this could be quite interesting, isn't it? Because the back markers are coming up now, and we have 3 minutes left. So perhaps we might just see a change in the grid positions, don't you think?
Oh my goodness me, this is going to be so close. We are only 3 minutes left, and look at that. Fali Rahman is already getting very, very close to Avila Baha. I'm not so sure if he has suffered any sort of damage to his car. It seemed like quite a big impact, but it doesn't seem like there has been much damage done to the McLaren. I think he seems to be good. He is maintaining his pace. He's right behind Avila Baha. He doesn't seem to be dropping back. But Nigel is definitely looking.
That's right, Nigel is going for it. There's 2 minutes 50 seconds left. I think we can go for another lap, can we?
Yes, for sure, because we are doing about 1 minute 53s to 54s around this track. Of course, the 53s on quali, but I think we do have a few drivers. I think they might be able to do 53s on race pace, but you have to be really, really fast.
Yes,
and I'm not so sure if that's going to happen, because normally you would consider to have a 1 second difference between your quali pace and your race pace, simply because you're carrying more fuel for the race. So that is one thing to think about.
That's right, and the thing is, Nigel is pushing for it, but Russell Reyes seems to be taking a back seat. I have a feeling he might be just observing what's going on up front, because I am pretty sure, can go for it if he wants to. He's just observing the situation, and perhaps if a mistake happens, and as you can tell earlier on, there was a back marker, and if Russell Reyes is in the correct position for it, he might just get a very good position.
I think Fali Rahman got really lucky there to collide with a back marker and still be P2 right behind his teammate. So I would have to say he's pretty lucky, because in a collision like that you would expect to drop back quite a number of places, but he is still in P2, so that is crazy to see.
It could have become, or rather, it could have been a lot worse, really. It's quite good that, JMX is doing quite well, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have quite a bit of points in this round. As you can tell, there are quite a bit of cars which are just sitting in the pits, I think. I saw the NSX, I believe.
There is 1 minute left to this race, so that would mean that this is the final lap. The drivers are now on their final lap.
Thing is, Nigel, I'm pretty sure he's going to push, he's going to try. I'm pretty sure. The thing is, he got really close earlier on, didn't he? And I'm pretty sure he can do that again. Now, 40 seconds left. The racing will end after this lap, and we will never know whether these current positions will stay. Now, thing is, Rahman seems to be maintaining his position. The thing is, if you have a teammate who is a team player, you really can bring home the points, can you? Because in some way, you can sort of help your teammate who's in P1 to not have any, well, attacking drivers at the back. Now, Nigel Chua is coming quite close, but thing is, if you ask me, it's much safer actually to sort of sit in.
Oh, we've got another back marker. Let's see what's about to happen. Hopefully
This
no
might be
collisions
a
this
problem.
time.
This might be a problem. No,
Does
thankfully.
the Mercedes see? The Mercedes is going wide.
Yes, he is
giving
going
way.
wide.
What about Nigel? Is Nigel able to make it past? Yes,
That's
Nigel
right.
makes it past the back marker, and I think Nigel has dropped back a bit. We
There we
are
go.
approaching the final few corners of the race. Now
That's right.
approaching the final chicane.
That's
It
right.
is Avila Baha in P1, Fadli Rahman in P2, Nigel Chua in P3. As you see, they are coming around the final chicane. Now the final corner. Hopefully no mistakes here, Avila Baha. There we go.
And it's the end.
That
Pretty
is the
much.
end of the race. Avila Baha takes P1 for round 1 of the Legion of Races Online League presented by Tarmac Works. P2 we have Fadli Rahmat, P3 we have Nigel Chua, P4 Russell Reyes, and then followed by Tanatip Tanalapanan for P5, Muhammad Tasbi for P6. I think we are still waiting for the final few drivers to cross the lines. We see the final results here. Amazing drive by Avila Baha. Really unfortunate there for Fadli Rahman, who really tangled with one of the back markers there. That is not good for him. But again, really good points for the Indonesian. We have an Indonesia 1-2, so this is going to be fantastic points for the Indonesians. Seriously good result. Amazing job.
That's right, and they enjoyed a very clean race for most of it, really, up to the back marker suddenly appeared. Thankfully, when the second back marker appeared, it was quite gentlemanly of him to give way. Now, thing is, that incident could have ended quite a lot worse if that little incident became a full-on crash. I think, well, both of them really, because both of them got tangled in that. And if Nigel Chua was in a safe position, he would probably have taken P1 and Russell Reyes P2 if we look at the charts.
Seriously,
right now.
I have no clue how Fadli Rahmat was able to make it out of that collision alive. Seriously, P2, from P1 to P2 with a collision, I am impressed. Seriously impressed.
That's right. Now, of course, we just saw round 1
Yes,
at the
that is round
Nurburgring at this Legion of Races Online League, brought to you by Tarmac Works. Now, if you want to see more, of course, stay tuned, because next week we are going racing again. We are going to Misano, aren't we?
Yes,
now, Misano is a
Misano.
very interesting track, and it will be very interesting as more people, well, the rest of them really will fight to gain some points. Now, well, the championship is really still wide open, isn't it? Because we still have 4 rounds. So it could be very interesting next week when we go racing again. Now, we have come to the end, of course, of Legion of Races Online League. Brought to you by Tarmac Works and our sponsors. We will see you guys next week. And I'm Idris. He's Javilai. He's not racing. Unfortunately, he'll be with me, a very slow driver, all the way. Now, next week, stay tuned, 9 p.m. again,
Yes.
July 14 on TikTok. See you guys then. Bye-bye.